Compounding is so beautiful. It's one of my top favorite things in this world. It gives me hope. And I remember the first time I heard about it, it was towards compounding interest. And it just made sense. It clicked. And then I was watching a few documentaries on, I think it was physics or science or something. And then I heard Einstein, they said Einstein had a quote relating to compounding. And as I was watching those documentaries, I started to see it in nature, see it everywhere. I realized it was inherent to this universe. And so I said, if it's inherent, and it's clearly everywhere in this universe, from the structure of lightning, when it strikes, bah, and then it cracks, and then you can see the fractal nature of that form just compounding itself, compounding its structure. The same as with a tree. It compounds its structure, and then it just poof at the top. And that's the result of compounded structure. So you can see compounding everywhere in nature. And so I said, well, I have to start a business that has compounding inherently in its structure. And that's what I did. I said my investment strategy in the stock market had to have compounding inherently built in to its system. And so every system I implement in the structure of my business, in the structure of all my investments, have that fundamental thought, that idea behind it before it's created, so that it's inherently built into its structure, so that my wealth can compound like a motherfucker. And that's how I do it. You follow nature. And nature compounds. There was a time when I was heavily meditating, and I started taking a deep breath. And then I looked at these pine needles. And I said, there's a lot of pine needles here, right underneath my feet. And then I looked around me, created a bigger circle, and I said, whoa, that's a lot of pine needles. And then I thought of the park I was in, the state park. I zoomed out and I was like, whoa, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. It was kind of like tripping me out. And then I said, what about this state? And then I said, what about the world? And then I got dizzy. Because then I realized how inherent compounding actually was, and how many fucking leaves and needles there were in this world. And that was just miraculous to me. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was beautiful. And that's when I like I said, I realized I had to implement that structure into every aspect of what I'm doing. And then I started analyzing my life, my daily routine. And I said, whoa, what's compounding there? The days I skip brushing my teeth randomly because, I have some random excuse. The days I skip working out. Whoa. The days I do work out. And then I realized I had to start structuring my life so that it was extremely redundant, extremely efficient to prepare for the future, so that the results compound into a life I truly want. And I read this book, the I think it was The Compounding Effect by Dale Hardy, something like that. And he talked about compounding actions, and that it's the small daily actions that compound into the person you become. And I saw it. I started seeing it with all my friends, all my family, me. And I said, whoa, my room looks like a damn studio in here. Why? Because compounded thought over time said, keep working at this YouTube channel thing until it works. And so I have a whole section dedicated to my YouTube channel in my house. You know what I'm saying? And it's the result of daily action, daily thought. And then I dove into my psyche and I said, that compounds too. One small thought. If I say, maybe I can't do this, maybe I can't do this, then it compounds to searching for proof of that. Oh, I took a break just now and it lasted, a couple days. Yeah, maybe that's it. And then that compounded off of that thought. And then that's what happens. It works for the positive too, but I'm trying to give you an example of thoughts branching off into other thoughts and how it represents the structure, or how it looks like the structure of a tree or lightning. And even the structure of thought is designed to have compounding built within it. But yeah, I have this immense appreciation for compounding because I know it's everything. It's everything. It's built into everything.